First and foremost, we're going to start off by giving all praises, all glory, all honor to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, through his only begotten Son, Jesus the Christ.
Right.
Secondly, we're going to give double honors to our elders. Our elders, they rule well. They're counted worthy of double honors. They get their double honors.
Facts, though.
Finally, lastly, I want to say to all of my brothers, all of my sisters out there, Shabbat Shalom, Happy Sabbath, greetings. My name is Priest Lithiel Ben Israel.
And likewise, my name is Priest Ron Ben Israel.
And we, as you know, we are with the holy nation of Israel, the straight gate of Israel. And we're back again, another class, another topic, another lesson. But before we get into it, get your Bibles with the Apocrypha included. And read along with us if you can. Also, get your notebooks, get your pens, get your paper, get your pencils. Take notes if it's in your spirit. Lord's willing, this will be an edifying lesson that I am going to entitle Wars, Signs of the Times, yo. Signs of the Times. And we're going to open up in 2nd Ezra 15 and 1.
2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 1.
Read.
Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people.
Speak thou in the ears of God's people what?
The words of prophecy.
The words of prophecy. We are commanded to speak the words of prophecy to God's people. Who are God's people? Give me one of the precepts about who God's people are real quick. Give me Matthew 2. Let me get one in the New Testament real quick. Matthew chapter 2. Who are God's people? Are God's people all people? Every people? Let's find out. Read this real quick.
The book of Matthew chapter 2 and verse 6.
Read.
And thou Bethlehem in the land of Judah.
Read.
Art not the least among the princes of Judah.
Read.
For out of thee shall come a governor.
For out of thee shall come a governor. Read.
That shall rule my people.
That shall rule my people. Read.
Israel.
Israel. See, the people of Israel, those are God's people, yo. God's people are the people of Israel. Not all people, not every people, just the people of Israel. Let's go back to 2nd Ezra 15 and 1.
Book of 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 1.
If anybody want to bring out a precept, feel free. Read.
Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy.
We are here to speak to the Israelites the words of prophecy. Read.
Which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord.
Keep reading.
And cause them to be written in paper.
And these prophecies that we are going to speak are the prophecies that are written here in the papers. These papers being the scriptures. What we know today as the Bible, yo. Finish the verse.
For they are faithful and true.
And these prophecies are faithful and true. You know what that always reminds me of? Give me Isaiah 34 and 16. He said these prophecies, which are written in paper, they are faithful and true. It always reminds me of this. Read that real quick.
The book of Isaiah chapter 34 verse 16.
Read.
Seek ye out of the book of the Lord.
Seek ye out of the book of the Lord, which is the Bible, and do what?
And read.
And do what?
And read.
And read. Read.
No one of these shall fail.
No one of these shall fail. What is he talking about? The prophecies. The prophecies in this book. No one of these shall fail. Why? Because they're faithful and true, yo. Finish the verse.
None shall want her mate.
None shall want her mate, meaning you cannot mate this book with any other book. You can't match it with the Quran. You can't match it with the Egyptian Book of the Dead. You can't match it with any book that was authored by T.D. Jakes or Creflo Dollar. None shall want her mate. Read.
For my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them.
The Lord's Spirit gathered these books together, these 80 books together. They were gathered by the Spirit of the Lord. And these books together collectively make up one book, which is the Bible. And this book is a book of prophecy. Give me that real quick in Revelation 22 about how this book is a book of prophecy.
And you coming back to true?
No, you can get that right after this. Read that real quick.
The book of Revelation chapter 22 and verse 18. For I testify unto every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book.
And I testify unto every man that hears the words of the prophecy of this book. This book is a book of prophecy. Oh, God's prophecy is in this book. Finish the verse.
If any man shall add unto these things, God shall add unto you him the plagues that are written in this book.
All praises, all praises. That was in verse 7, right?
That was verse 18.
I only want verse 7.
Verse 7. Behold, I come quickly.
I come quickly.
Blessed is he that keepeth the sayings of the prophecy of this book.
Once again, of the prophecy of this book. This book is a book of prophecy. It is a prophetic book. This book right here is living, yo. Hey, go ahead, priest.
Oh, I just wanted to go back. Hey, you was at go back to 2nd Ezra 15 and 2.
The book of 2nd Ezra chapter 15 verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
And cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true.
I want to just pick up on this true real quick. Hey, get Psalms 119, 160.
The book of Psalms chapter 119 verse 160.
Bring this up.
And thy word is true from the beginning.
So when we talk about God's words, you got to know that God's words, they are true. Since when? Since the beginning of our existence, God's words has always been true. Keep reading.
And every one of thy judgments, and every one of thy righteous judgments endure forever.
Hey, all praises. That's all I want.
All right, hey. Now, we're talking about prophecy. Why? Why? Give me the book of 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 7 real quick. Let me get that real fast. 1 Peter 4 and 7. Read that when you get there.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 7.
Read.
But the end of all things is at hand.
Read it again.
But the end of all things is at hand.
That's why we're talking about prophecy here in this class. Because the end of all things, as you know it, is at hand, man. It's close. It's near, yo. Real talk. Read.
Be ye therefore sober.
Be ye therefore sober, meaning clear-minded. Read.
And watch.
And do what?
And watch.
And what?
Unto prayer.
And watch unto prayer, yo. He said, be ye sober-minded and watch unto prayer. Why? Because the end of all things, as we know it, is at hand. So we're supposed to watch unto prayer. And what are you supposed to be watching for? You're supposed to be watching the signs, yo. You're supposed to be watching the signs because the signs tell you the time, yo. It tells you the time. You're supposed to be watching for the coming of the Lord, yo. Give me that real quick in Matthew chapter 24. Matthew chapter 24 and 42, I think it is.
Book of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 42.
That's it, read.
Watch therefore.
Do what?
Watch therefore.
Read.
For ye know not what hour your Lord doth come.
Watch therefore. Why? Because you don't know the hour in which the Lord is going to return. This is why we have been commanded to watch. Watch. Give me Mark chapter 13 about that hour. How we don't know the hour. Mark chapter 13, let's start in verse 35.
The book of Mark chapter 13 and verse 35.
Read.
Watch ye therefore.
Read it again.
Watch ye therefore.
Why?
For ye know not when the master of the house cometh.
You know not the time when the master of the house cometh. This is why he said, watch, watch. The master of the house, that's talking about the Messiah. It's talking about Christ himself. Give me that real quick. Matthew chapter 23, read verse 10 first. We'll come back to this.
The book of Matthew chapter 23 and verse 10.
Read.
Neither be ye called masters.
Why?
For one is your master.
Read.
Even Christ.
For one is your master, indeed, Christ. Christ is the master. Jump up to verse 8.
Verse 8.
Uh-huh.
But be not ye called a rabbi.
Be not called rabbi, read.
For one is your master.
For one is your master, read.
Even Christ.
Even Christ.
And all ye are brethren.
We're just brethren. Christ is the master, yo. This is why he said, be ye not called rabbi. Because the word rabbi, for those that don't know, the word rabbi literally means master, yo. It literally means master. Give me that in John 1. St. John chapter 1. St. John chapter 1, I believe is 37. 36, 37 is one of those two. Call it when you find it.
The book of St. John chapter 1 and verse
Try
38.
37. Try 37.
37. And the two disciples heard him speak.
That's what I want. Read.
And they followed Jesus.
Uh-huh.
Then Jesus turned and saw them following, and saith unto them,
And say what?
What seek ye? They said unto him, Rabbi, which is to say, being interpreted, Master.
They said unto him, Rabbi, which is to say, Master. The word rabbi means master, yo. Read verse 38 again.
Verse 38. Then Jesus turned and saw them following.
He saw those disciples following him. Read.
And saith unto them,
Uh-huh.
What seek ye?
What are you looking for? Read.
They said unto him, Rabbi.
They said unto him, Master. Read.
Which is to say, being interpreted, Master.
Read.
Where dwellest thou?
So they wanted to know where he was living. They wanted to know where he lived. But that's not the point of this. The point here is to show you that the word rabbi means master, yo. And one is our master. And that's Jesus Christ. Hamashiach Yahushai. Let's go back to Mark chapter 13 real quick.
The book of Mark chapter 13 verse 35. Watch ye therefore, for ye know not when the master of the house cometh.
You want to watch because you don't know when Christ will return. When the master of the house will return. Read.
At even.
Whether he might return in the evening hour. At the evening time. Read.
Or at midnight.
Or he might return at the midnight hour. At the midnight time. Read.
Or at the cock crowing.
Or he could return at the hour that the cock crows. At the time that the cock crows. Read.
Or in the morning.
Or he could return in the morning time. The morning hour. You don't know. This is why he told you to watch, yo. Keep reading.
Verse 36. Lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping.
Lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping, yo. Read.
And what I say unto you, I say unto all.
What's that?
Watch.
Watch. You want to watch. Why? Because you don't want him to come up on you and find you sleeping. Remember, Christ referred to himself as a thief coming in the night. Real talk. That's how Christ referred to himself. Who wants to be caught sleeping in their house when a thief is breaking in? Nobody. Nobody. Everybody wants to be up, ready, prepared, Joe.
The defense.
To defend themselves, Joe. Real talk. Hey, give me that real quick about what Christ referred to himself as that thief in the night.
The book of 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 10.
Oh, no, I don't want that one. I don't want that one. Give me the one in Matthew chapter 24. I didn't put this in the class, but we're going to come back here. Matthew chapter 24 in verse... Let me see here. Here we go. Let's start in verse 42 again.
The book of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 42.
Read.
Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come.
Read.
But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come. The thief would come.
The thief would come. Read.
He would have watched.
He would have watched. Read.
And would not have suffered his house to be broken up.
See, you can't watch if you sleep. If you sleep, your house is broken up, yo. Your house is broken up. Hey, 1 Thessalonians 5. Paul said the same thing. Told us about Christ coming back as a thief. Start at 1.
The book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 1. But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you.
Read.
For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief.
As a what?
As a thief in the night.
As a thief in the night. This is why you want to watch. Because the day of the Lord is coming as a thief in the night, yo. And if you don't watch, you're going to be unprepared. You're going to get caught off guard. Hey, give me Revelation 3. Revelation chapter 3 and verse 3.
The book of Revelation chapter 3 and verse 3. Remember therefore how thou hast received and heard.
How you have received the gospel. How you heard the gospel. Read.
And hold fast.
And hold fast to the gospel. Read.
And repent.
And repent. Read.
And therefore thou shalt not watch.
Now if you do not watch, read.
I will come on thee as a thief.
What did he say?
I will come on thee as a thief.
Christ said, I will come on you as a thief. Read.
And thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee.
This is why you want to watch. You want to watch unto prayer. You want to watch for the coming of the Lord, Joe. Because with the coming of the Lord comes what? Destruction. Mm-hmm. And with the coming of the Lord comes also what? Salvation, yo. Salvation, deliverance. This is why you want to watch, man. You want to keep your eyes open and you want to watch. Hey, give me Matthew chapter 24. Oh, he said you want to watch unto prayer too. And when it's talking about watch unto prayer, it's talking about praying. And when we're talking about praying, it's not talking about praying for peace. It's not talking about praying for peace in the Ukraine or praying for peace in the Middle East.
Yeah, well, Gaza.
In Gaza. That's not what it's talking about. When it's talking about watch unto prayer, it's talking about praying for that destruction. Destruction to your enemies. Praying for that salvation. Salvation for your people. For God's people, yo. And I know somebody gonna be like, that's crazy. They talk about praying for destruction of your enemies. Give me that real quick in Luke chapter 18. Not in the class, but we gotta bring it out. Luke chapter 18. You know what I want. Start at 1. Read down.
Book of Luke chapter 18 verse 1.
Read.
And he spake a parable unto them to this end,
Uh-huh.
that men ought always to pray.
Men are always to do what?
To pray.
Always to pray. Read.
And not to faint.
And not to faint. Meaning don't give up praying. Don't stop praying. Read.
saying,
Saying what?
there was in a city a judge, which feared not God,
Read.
neither regarded man.
Read.
And there was a widow in that city.
Uh-huh.
And she came unto him, saying,
Saying what?
avenge me.
Saying what?
Avenge me.
Saying, avenge me. Read.
Of mine adversary.
Of my enemy. This widow came to this judge constantly on a daily basis, saying, avenge me of my adversary. My enemies. Read.
And he would not for a while.
And he wouldn't do it for a while. Read.
But afterward he said within himself,
Uh-huh.
though I fear not God,
Read.
nor regard man,
Read.
yet because this widow troubleth me,
Yet because this widow troubleth me, she comes to him every day asking for vengeance against her adversary. Read.
I will avenge her.
He said, now I'm going to avenge her. Yo, read.
Lest by her continual coming
Uh-huh.
she weary me.
Read.
And the Lord said, hear what the unjust judge saith.
Hear what the unjust judge said. Read.
And shall not God,
And shall not who?
and shall not God
Read.
avenge his own elect,
Read.
which cry day and night unto him?
Which cry day and night unto him about what? Vengeance. Vengeance against the adversary, man. Vengeance against the enemy. Watch unto prayer. This is what you want to pray for, man. Because with destruction to the enemy comes salvation to the Israelites, man. Real talk. Is that the end of that?
No.
Keep reading.
And shall not God avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him?
Read.
Though he bear long with them.
Keep reading.
Verse 8. I tell you that he will avenge them speedily.
Christ said, I tell you, he will avenge them. And he's going to avenge them speedily. Read.
Nevertheless,
Uh-huh.
when the Son of Man cometh,
Read.
shall he find faith on the earth?
Nevertheless, when the Son of Man returns, shall he find faith on the earth? You know if you got faith if you're praying for what? Destruction to the adversary, man. Vengeance against the adversary, against the enemy. You know you have faith if you're praying for that thing. If you're praying for that thing. Not praying for peace. Not praying for peace, but praying for war. Praying for war. Praying for more earthquakes. More hurricanes. More tornadoes. More floods.
Famines,
More famines.
death, destruction.
To the enemies of God, which are the enemies of Israel. Give me Matthew chapter 24, verse 3.
The book of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 3.
Read.
And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying,
Saying what?
Tell us, when shall these things be?
When shall these things be? When shall what things be? Jump up to verse 1.
Verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple.
So his disciples came to show him the renovations of the temple. The temple had just been renovated. The renovations were completed. Keep reading.
And Jesus said unto them, see ye not all these things?
See ye not all these things, the buildings of the temple, these renovations? Read.
Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another,
Read.
that shall not be thrown down.
What is Christ prophesying about here? The destruction of the temple. Yo, Christ just prophesied about the destruction of the temple in 70 A.D. Keep reading.
Verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be?
Tell us, when shall these things be? When will the temple be destroyed? Every stone cast down. Read.
And what shall be the sign of thy coming?
And what shall be the sign of your return? Read.
And of the end of the world.
And what shall be the signs of the end of the world? See, when we were reading Watch, we were talking about how you want to watch out for the Lord. You do. You know what else you want to watch for? Those signs, man. Those signs. Because the signs tell you the times. Hey, matter of fact, stay in the same chapter. Jump over to verse 32 real quick.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 32.
Read.
Now learn a parable of the fig tree.
Learn a parable. The parable of the fig tree. Read.
When his branch is yet tender, and putteth forth leaves.
When the branch is tender and the fig tree begins to put forth the leaves. Not the figs, but the leaves. Keep reading.
Ye know that summer is nigh.
That tells you that the summer is approaching. The summer is near. When you see the fig tree put forth his branches, and his branches is putting forth the leaves, that tells you that the summer is right around the corner. Read.
So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things.
So likewise you, when you see all these things are talking about the signs. When you see all these things, read.
Know that it is near.
Know that it is near. It's talking about the end is near. Read.
Even at the doors.
It's even at the doors, yo. So we're about to read about these signs. These signs that show us and tell us that the end is near. Let's go back and read verse 4. Matter of fact, read verse 3 one more time.
The book of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying,
Saying what?
Tell us, when shall these things be?
When will the temple be destroyed? Read.
And what shall be the sign of thy coming?
What will be the sign of his return?
And of the end of the world?
And what will be the signs of the end of the world? So the disciples had 3 questions for Christ. And Christ answered all 3 questions here in this chapter. He just didn't answer the questions in the order in which they were received. He just didn't answer the questions in the order in which they were received. The first question he answers is the last question that was asked. He answers the question regarding the signs of the end of the world. And that's what we're about to talk about now. Read.
Verse 4.
Uh-huh.
And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you.
Christ said, take heed that no man deceive you. Read.
For many shall come in my name, saying,
Saying what?
I am Christ.
Saying, I am Christ, which is short for saying, I am Christian. Read.
And shall deceive many.
And shall deceive many. How? How will they deceive so many people? Give me Ephesians chapter 5. Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 6.
The book of Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 6.
Read.
Let no man deceive you with vain words.
Read it again.
Let no man deceive you.
Let no man deceive you. How?
With vain words.
How?
With vain words.
This is how man deceives. Man deceives with vain words, man. Empty words. Lying words, yo. Lying ideas. This is how man deceives. And he said, let no man deceive you with vain words. Read.
For because of these things,
But because of these things, read.
cometh the wrath of God upon the children of disobedience.
Cometh the wrath of God upon the children of disobedience because of these things. What things? Jump up to verse 5.
Verse 5. For this ye know, that no whoremonger,
No whoremonger. A whoremonger is a hoe. Male or female hoe. A whoremonger is a brother or a woman with a W. Keep going.
nor unclean person,
Nor unclean person.
nor covetous man,
Uh-huh.
who is an idolater,
Nor covetous man, which is an idolater. Read.
have any inheritance in the kingdom of Christ and of God.
They have no inheritance in the kingdom of God in Christ. Read.
Verse 6. Let no man deceive you with vain words.
Let no man deceive you or lie to you with vain words. Yo, read.
For because of these things,
Because of these things, the whoremongering, the uncleanness, the covetousness, which is idolatry. Read.
cometh the wrath of God upon the children of disobedience.
Because of these things come the wrath of God, Joe. And you know, in Christianity, they tell you it's okay to be a whoremonger. They tell the young men, go ahead and sow your royal oats.
Mm-hmm.
They tell the young women, go have the hot girl summer. They tell you it's okay to be a whore with a W. Yo, real talk. They tell you it's okay to be unclean. They tell you covetousness and idolatry is not a problem. Those things, those are vain words, man. And they deceive many people with that. Let's go back to the book of Matthew 24. Matthew 24 and 4.
The book of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 4. And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you.
Take heed that no man deceive you. Read.
For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ,
Saying, I am Christ, which is short for saying, I am Christian. Read.
and shall deceive many.
And shall deceive many. How? With vain words. Man deceives with vain words. Lying ideas, thoughts, and opinions. This is how man deceives you. And they have deceived many. Keep reading.
And ye shall hear of
You
wars,
shall hear wars.
and rumors of wars.
And rumors of wars.
See that ye be not troubled.
Don't be troubled when you hear about the wars and the rumors of wars. Read.
For all these things must come to pass.
These things have to happen. Read.
But the end is not yet.
But the end is not yet, yo. You're going to hear of wars and rumors of wars. This is the time period that we're living in now, yo. Let me get my first folder. You got anything on that?
No, bro.
Let me get my first folder. Folder number 1. Go to, yeah. Just go out real quick. Go up to view at the top. Yeah, click it. Yeah, click that right there, yeah, so I can make sure I see everything good. Let me know when we're straight. We good? All right, let's start there.
World world is going crazy with a few wars happening right now inside of it. Russia and Ukraine has been the first. In Africa, there's France versus Niger, France versus Burkina Faso, France versus Mali, and also...
You heard what he said? He said in Africa you got France versus Niger, France and Burkina Faso, France and Mali. The war is going over all over the continent of Africa. Press play.
Atrocities happening on the continent, but we are focused right now not even on Russia and Ukraine. We're focusing on Israel versus Palestine. And that is very, very interesting because these two countries have been going at it for quite some time.
Well, as you can see, the world is at war. You got war all over the continent of Africa. Russia and the Ukraine still at war. Israel and Hamas at war. Hey, let's I want to start this video and we're gonna go to, you can start it at 2 seconds. Right, yeah, 2 seconds, and we're gonna go to 23 seconds.
2023 has been a dramatic year, with conflicts across the globe from Israel to Sudan and Myanmar to Colombia. And all of this chaos can make the news hard to follow. So in this video, we thought we'd go through every new and ongoing war in 2023. And a quick warning, there's quite a few.
What is that, 38 seconds? Oh, that's 25. All right, go to 38 seconds for me. And we're going to go from there to 1 minute and 13 seconds.
This video is some structure. We're going to go continent by continent, beginning with the Americas, with Mexico, where the long-running war on drugs has escalated recently, despite the country's president pledging it would end in 2018. In January, there were clashes between the Mexican army and the Sinaloa cartel following the arrest of drug lord El Chapo's son. In fact, this spike in violence was so significant that it prompted some US Republicans to call for US military intervention against cartels in Mexico, something that the Mexican president rejected.
Yeah, all praises, all praises. So you see, wars going on in the Americas. Go over to 118, and we're going to go to 2 minutes and 3 seconds.
The country's 60-year civil conflict is still ongoing. A historic peace agreement did see Marxist guerrillas from FARC, the country's biggest rebel group, lay down their arms in 2017. But dissidents and other groups like the ELN remain active. While there have been some clashes with FARC dissidents recently, a 6-month ceasefire with the ELN did begin in August, and a 10-month ceasefire with FARC dissidents is due to begin this month. Over in Europe, the war in Ukraine has continued throughout 2023, with Ukrainian forces earlier this year relaunching their much-awaited counteroffensive aimed at breaking through Russian lines and recapturing territory.
Go to 2 minutes, 8 seconds.
Though, in reality, this progress has been pretty slow and grueling. This
let it keep going.
has seen an increase in attacks by Ukraine on Russian-occupied territory and Russia proper, largely using both air and sea drones, including a second attack on the Crimean Bridge and multiple drone strikes targeting Moscow. Next up, let's move to Africa, where insurgencies are...
So right now, what he just showed you is that there's wars all over the Americas. He just showed you that there's wars in Europe. Now they're moving to the continent of Africa to talk about how there's wars here on the continent of Africa. Or there on the continent of Africa. Press play.
Always confined within borders. And that's particularly true for West Africa, where there's an ongoing Islamist insurgency by Al-Qaeda and IS-linked groups, which have continued to plague the region, which itself has further been destabilized by a series of coups. For instance, Nigeria continues its battle with Boko Haram in its north, while Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger are among the worst affected by insurgencies. In Mali, Al-Qaeda-linked insurgents are besieging the city of Timbuktu, and there's been a resumption of hostilities with Tuareg-led separatist groups in the north. While the coup in Niger back in July raised the risk of an interstate conflict, as West Africa bloc ECOWAS threatened to launch a military intervention if the ousted president was not reinstated.
Pause.
But
All right, go to 326, and we're gonna go to 439.
Insurgencies are also ongoing in East Africa too, most notably in Somalia, where the government is currently trying to seize back control of territory held by al-Shabaab, who have also carried out attacks across the border in Kenya. In Sudan, a civil war between the Sudanese armed forces and the Rapid Support Forces paramilitary erupted in April, which has now resulted in more than 9,000 fatalities and millions of refugees, with most of them taking place in Khartoum and the western region of Darfur. Ethiopia is also still in conflict, despite a formal end of the Tigray War in November of last year. That's because this year conflict broke out in the country's Amhara region over the Ethiopian army's attempts to disarm the regional militia called Fano, prompting the Ethiopian government to declare a 6-month state of emergency back in August. Also in Eastern and Central Africa, the Democratic Republic of Congo continues to face a series of protracted armed conflicts involving rebel groups in its east, while the Central African Republic's civil war is still ongoing after more than a...
So we're going to go down. We're going to go to 4 minutes, 54 seconds, and we're going to go from there to 6 minutes, 3 seconds.
In the Middle East, Syria's civil war...
So we went from the Americas, Europe, Africa. Now we're about to talk about wars taking place in the so-called Middle East. And we say so-called because there is no such thing as the Middle East. The term Middle East, that wasn't coined until 1901, yo. There was no Middle East for real before the Suez Canal, yo. What was that, 1859 through 1869? That's when the building of the Suez Canal. Matter of fact, I can look real quick. Let me just check real fast, make sure I ain't tripping.
Yeah, I think you're
Yep,
right.
1859 to 1869. There was no Middle East before that. Before that, that area right there was Africa, yo. It was still Africa. It was still the land of Ham. But anyway, he's about to tell you about the wars that are taking place today in the so-called Middle East. Press play and we're going to go to 6 minutes and 3 seconds.
Still going 12 years on, though President Assad now looks safe in his position and frontline fighting has mostly subsided. Nonetheless, Syria is still far from peaceful, and there's recently been an uptick in violence, as Turkey, which occupies some of northern Syria, has taken a more aggressive stance towards US-backed Kurdish militants in the southeast. Violence between Israel and Palestine hasn't been limited to the exchange of rocket fire or individual attacks this year. That's because an unprecedented attack occurred in October when Hamas militants broke out of the Gaza Strip and launched a full-scale surprise offensive which saw them overrun towns and villages in southern Israel, killing, at the time of writing, at least 900 people and taking dozens of hostages. The Israeli government in response bombarded Gaza and vowed a complete siege of the small but dense territory of 2 million people, with the Israeli defense minister saying that it meant no electricity, no food, no water, no fuel.
Hey, that's what they're doing today. No food, no water, no electricity, goddammit. None. Hey, 6 minutes, 35 seconds to 7 minutes and 46 seconds, and we're done with this video. We're going to go to 7 minutes and 46 seconds.
Remains dire. The breakaway region of Nagorno-Karabakh was once again at the...
So once again, wars all over the world. The Americas, Europe, Africa, so-called Middle East. Now we're on the continent of Asia. On the continent of Asia, talking about wars taking place. And all of this is still 2023. I just want to put this out here. Put that out there. We're not showing a video from 2021, 2020, 2022. That's not what it is. 2023. Press play.
The conflict this year. But this time, Azerbaijan, through a 24-hour military campaign, managed to fully take control of the territory after blockading it for months. The ethnic Armenian separatists in the region have agreed to disarm, and its leadership have announced the dissolution of the unrecognized republic. In the wake of Azerbaijan's takeover, nearly all of the region's 120,000 strong Armenian population has fled to Armenia, in what the country has described as an ethnic cleansing. Next up, Myanmar remains racked by civil war more than 2 years since a coup overthrew the country's civilian government. Now, this conflict is largely between the military junta and the exiled National Unity Government, whose armoured wing is now allied with a number of local armed groups. Now, the junta is increasingly using airstrikes to try and counter the widespread armed resistance, with the UN's...
That was it. All praises. Hey, X out this. See here. Yep, let's click on this news article right here. So we were talking about wars. We're in a time of wars, but we're also in a time of rumors of wars, yo. Rumors of wars. Does that look good on the screen, or we need to enlarge it? We straight? Hey, read that for me.
China Hawk says Beijing could attack Taiwan by 2024, bringing war to the West.
Bringing war to the West, meaning to America. If China attacks Taiwan in 2024, that's going to cause war with the United States of America. Remember, Taiwan is allied with the United States of America, with the USA. This is a rumor of war. A rumor of war right here for 2024. Go over. Let's see here. Enlarge that. Let me see if I want to read any of this. Scroll up. Let's see if I want to read any of this or not. You probably use the mouse to climb up. There we go. Yeah, let's read this. I'm going to read it. It says, prominent China hawk Kyle Bass told CNBC on Tuesday that he believes Chinese President Xi Jinping is determined to bring war to the West with an invasion of Taiwan likely before the end of 2024. Rumor of war. China rumored to go to war with Taiwan, to invade Taiwan, which will cause war with China and the United States. Go over. Okay, it says another global crisis brews in the South China Sea. And that date right there is October 27th, 2023. Yep, recent. All right, enlarge that. That's good enough. Hold on. That's good. Read that, thousands of miles.
Thousands of miles from the wars playing out in Ukraine and Gaza, another potential conflict is brewing in the South China Sea.
A potential conflict, meaning that's a rumor. Rumor of a conflict is brewing. Read.
That's caught U.S. President Joe Biden's attention.
Read.
China and the Philippines.
China and the Philippines. Rumor of war. China and the Philippines. Read.
A U.S. treaty ally.
The Philippines is a U.S. treaty ally. Read.
Have been at each other's throats over a
dilapidated
World War II era ship that for decades have served as Manila's lone guardian in the Second Thomas Shoal, which both nations claim as their own.
Which both nations, talking about China and the Philippines, they claim this place as their own. Read.
The problem is the vessel is falling apart.
And we don't care. We just wanted to bring it out to show you about the rumor of war. China and the Philippines. Go over. Anything else? That's the same article. I don't want to read no more of that. That was it? That was it? Hey, all praise. Let's go back to the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 6.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24. And verse...
I forgot to mention the biggest rumor of war. Read Matthew 24 and 6.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 6. And ye shall hear wars.
This is where we are today. We're in a time of wars, yo. Wars all over the Americas, all over Europe, all over Africa, all over the quote-unquote Middle East, all over Asia. We're in a time of wars. Read.
And rumors of wars.
And we're in a time of rumors of wars. China and Taiwan. China and the Philippines. China and the United States of America. We're in a time of rumors of wars. And the biggest rumor of war today, World War III. Yo, World War III is coming. That's the biggest rumor of war today. Read.
See that ye be not troubled.
See that you be not troubled. See, when we look at videos and we see the wars going on all around the world, that thing troubles some of us in our spirit, in our hearts, in our minds. But Christ said what?
Be ye not troubled.
But Christ said, do not be troubled. Don't be afraid. Don't be nervous. Don't be worried. Don't be scared. Read.
For all these things must come to pass.
You have to understand these things must come to pass. These things must happen. Read.
But the end is not yet.
But this is not the end, yo. This is not the end. I know a lot of brothers want to tell you this is the end, but this is not the end. Keep reading.
For nation shall rise against
For
nation.
nation shall rise against nation. That's nationality at war fighting against another nationality. Like what you have going on over there in Israel and in Palestine and Gaza today. You have nation against nation. You got Amalek, the so-called Jewish man, fighting against Ishmael, the so-called Palestinian. That's nation against nation. One nationality at war with another nationality. Read.
And kingdom against kingdom.
And kingdom against kingdom, that's the white man. Edom at war with his own brother, his own neighbor. Edom at war with Edom. That is kingdom against kingdom. That's the Ukraine and that's Russia right now. Russia and the Ukraine. That's kingdom against kingdom. But hold on. Give me Isaiah chapter 19. Let me get Isaiah chapter 19 verse 1. Let me get that.
The book of Isaiah chapter 19 verse 1.
Read.
The burden of Egypt.
The burden of Egypt. When we're talking about Egypt here, we're not talking about ancient Egypt, yo. This is not talking about ancient Egypt. Read it again.
The burden of Egypt.
Read.
Behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud.
Read.
And shall come into Egypt.
And shall come into Egypt. This is how we know this ain't talking about ancient Egypt. The Lord didn't come into ancient Egypt on no damn cloud. Where's that at in history? Where's that at in antiquity? This is not talking about ancient Egypt. This is talking about new Egypt. This is talking about modern Egypt. This is talking about spiritual Egypt, yo. Real talk, which is the United States of America. The Bible calls it Mystery Babylon the Great. Give me Revelation chapter 11, verse 8, please. Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8.
Book of Revelation chapter 11 verse 8.
Read.
And their dead bodies
Uh-huh.
shall lie in the street of the great city.
And their dead bodies, talking about the dead bodies of the Israelites, their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city. The great city is Mystery Babylon the Great. Give me that precept real quick.
The book of Revelation chapter 14 and verse 8.
Read.
And there followed another angel, saying,
Saying what?
Babylon is fallen.
Uh-huh.
It's fallen, that great city.
That great city. That great city is Babylon. Not ancient Babylon. Mystery Babylon. That is that great city. Read.
Because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
Hey, give me the one in Revelation 17. Revelation chapter 17. And read the last verse real quick.
The book of Revelation chapter 17 and verse 18.
Uh-huh.
And the woman which thou sawest
And the woman which John saw in the vision earlier in this vision, read,
is that great city,
is that great city.
which reigneth over the kings of the earth.
Hey, jump up to verse 5 about the woman real quick.
Verse 5.
Uh-huh.
And upon her forehead
And upon her forehead, this woman's forehead, read,
was a name written.
was a name written, read.
Mystery, Babylon the Great.
That's the great city. The great city is Mystery Babylon the Great. Yo, read.
The mother of harlots.
The mother of whores, with a W, read.
And abominations of the earth.
And the mother of the abominations of the earth. So when we go back to Revelation 11 in verse 8 again.
In the book of Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8.
Read.
And their dead bodies
And their dead bodies.
shall lie in the street of the great city.
The great city is Mystery Babylon the Great, which we know today as the United States of America. Read.
Which spiritually
Which spiritually is what?
is called
It's
Sodom.
called what?
It's called Sodom.
And what else?
And Egypt.
And what?
And Egypt.
Boom. This place is Egypt. Yo, read.
Where also our Lord was crucified.
Where also our Lord and Savior was crucified. The United States of America. This place right here is Egypt. This place is Egypt, yo. That's what John told us. Hey, Moses told us the same thing as well. Matter of fact, Deuteronomy 28 and 68. We'll come back to Revelation 11. Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Moses told us this place was Egypt as well. Read that real quick.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68.
Read.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt.
No, the Lord shall bring thee where?
Into Egypt.
The Lord shall bring you Israelites into Egypt. Read.
Again.
Again, how?
With ships.
With what?
With ships.
How did the Israelites, specifically Judah, how did we get here to the United States of America?
On slave ships.
On slave ships. What did Moses just call this place? Egypt. He called this place Egypt. This place here is Egypt. Read it again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
How?
With ships.
Read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again.
Read.
And there.
And there, talking about in Egypt, the United States of America, read.
Ye shall be sold.
Ye shall be what?
Sold unto your enemies.
When we got off the slave ships here in Egypt, in the United States of America, what happened to us? Our ancestors. They were sold. They were sold to their enemies. Read.
For bondmen.
For slave men and what?
And bond women.
And slave women and what?
And no man shall buy you.
And no man has saved them ever since. Moses told you this place right here is Egypt, yo. Hey, go back to Revelation chapter 11 and give me verse 11 about the resurrection of those dead bodies.
The book of Revelation chapter 11 and verse 11.
Because remember in Isaiah 19, he said the Lord is coming into Egypt on a swift cloud, right? Hey, read Revelation 11 and 11.
The book of Revelation chapter 11 verse 11.
Read.
And after 3 days and a half, the Spirit of life from God entered into them.
Into them, talking about those dead bodies. They lived. What is this talking about? Resurrection. Resurrection, but keep going.
And they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them.
Keep reading.
And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them,
saying what?
Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud.
And they ascended up to heaven in what?
In a cloud.
In a cloud, Joe. The Lord is coming into Egypt on a swift cloud, Joe. And guess what he's going to do? Deliver his people. He is going to deliver his people. Finish the verse.
And their enemies beheld them.
Hey, give me that in 2nd Ezra 15 and verse 10 real quick. 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 10. Let me get that.
The book of 2nd Ezra chapter 15 verse 10.
We're going to read down to like 12.
All right. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter.
Where?
I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt.
He said, my people are led like a flock to the slaughter. Where? In Egypt, yo. And this ain't talking about ancient Egypt. No, this is talking about mystery Babylon the Great. That city that is spiritually called Egypt, yo. Remember what we read? He said, remember what we read in Revelation 11? He said, their dead bodies shall be where? In the streets of the great city, right? Now you're reading about what? Read it again.
Verse 10. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter.
You know what time period this is talking about? It's talking about Jacob's trouble ultimately, yo. It's talking about Jacob's trouble. The time when God's people, the Israelite people, are going to be led like a flock to the slaughter. This is why in Revelation 11 and 8 it said their dead bodies were in the streets of the city, yo. But that's a whole nother class. Keep reading.
I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt.
The Lord said, I'm not going to allow them to dwell, to stay in the land of Egypt. The Lord's going to deliver his people from this place here. Read.
But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt.
He said, I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm. We just read that in Revelation 11, where he said, come up hither. And they ascended up into a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. What was that talking about? Deliverance, man. Deliverance. It's the same thing right here. Keep going.
And smite Egypt with plague.
And at the same time that he delivers his people from this place, he said he's going to smite this place with plagues. Read.
As before.
Like he did ancient Egypt. Read.
And will destroy all the land thereof.
That's how you know this ain't talking about ancient Egypt. He said, I will destroy all the land thereof. Did he destroy all the land of ancient Egypt?
Nope.
No. How do we know that? Because we can still see the Sphinx. We can still see the pyramids. We can still see the obelisk. We know where the Valley of Kings is. Obviously, he ain't destroyed the whole land of Egypt. Hey, but he's going to destroy this whole land. This land right here is prophesied to be destroyed. Wiped off the map. Is there more?
That was verse 11.
All right, keep going. Verse 12.
Verse 12. Egypt shall mourn.
Egypt shall what?
Egypt shall mourn.
Mourning is coming to this place. Read.
And the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that God shall bring upon it.
There you go. And this place is going to be smitten with the plague and the punishment that God is going to bring upon it. And we know that plague, that punishment is fire, fire, fire. Fire from heaven. You got something?
No.
Hey, where we at?
That was verse 12.
Hey, let's go back to Isaiah 19. Oh, matter of fact, no. Give me Luke chapter 21 and 27 about Christ returning real quick. Luke 21, 27.
The book of Luke, chapter 21, and in verse 27. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud.
Coming in what?
coming in a cloud,
Coming in a cloud.
with power and great glory.
The Son of Man, Christ, he's coming in a cloud then, with power and glory. And he's going to come into Egypt on that cloud. He's going to come into Egypt on that cloud with power and glory. And when we're talking about the cloud, we're talking about what the world calls a UFO, or what the world calls a UAE, an unidentified aerial, UAP, a unidentified aerial phenomenon. Real talk. Hey, give me that in Psalm 104 and verse 3 about the clouds being the chariots. The vehicles of God.
Book of Psalms, chapter 104, and verse 3.
Read.
Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters.
Who lay up the beams of his chambers in the waters. It's talking about the waters above the firmament. What we call outer space. Keep reading.
Who maketh the clouds.
Who maketh the clouds is what?
His chariots.
His chariots. So when we're talking about Christ coming into Egypt on a swift cloud, we're talking about Christ coming into Egypt on a chariot. He's coming back on a chariot, yo. Finish the verse.
Who walketh upon the wings of the wind.
That's the way he left. That's the way he's going to return. Get that in Acts 1. Acts chapter 1 and verse 9. Acts 1 and 9. That's the way he left. He left on a cloud. He's coming back on a cloud. Read that.
The book of Acts chapter 1 and verse 9. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up.
Talking about Christ. He was taken up. Read.
And a cloud.
And a what?
And a cloud received him out of their sight.
So he was taken up into a cloud. What is the cloud? The chariot. The chariot. The UFO. The UAP. Read.
Verse 10. And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven, as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel.
Read.
Which also said, Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? This same Jesus, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven.
He said the way you saw him go into heaven, meaning in a cloud, that's how he's going to return. He's going to return on a cloud. And he's going to return in power, yo. In power. Let's go back to Isaiah 19. Isaiah chapter 19, verse 1.
The book of Isaiah chapter 19, verse 1.
Read.
The burden of Egypt. Behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt.
He shall come into Egypt. This is talking about spiritual Egypt, the United States of America. We just showed you that in Revelation 11. Keep going.
And the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence.
And the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence. What are the idols of Egypt? The Statue of Liberty, the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, the White House, the Capitol Building, the statues of Martin Luther King. These are all the idols of Egypt. These things are going to be moved at his presence. When the Lord returns, these idols will be moved. Read.
And the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it.
Keep going.
And I will set the Egyptians.
He said, and I will set the Egyptians. The Egyptians here, this is not talking about the ancient Egyptians. This is hip talk for the so-called white man. This is hip talk for Edom, yo. Read it again.
And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians.
Hey, remember when Paul called Esau Pharaoh? He compared Edom to Pharaoh? Give me that real quick. Give me that. Start at verse 13, chapter 9, verse 13 first.
The book of Romans, chapter 9, and verse 13.
Read.
As it is written, Jacob have I loved,
Read.
but Esau have I hated.
So when you keep it in context from here in verse 13, I think down to, what is it, 24? Was it 24, I think?
To the Pharaoh.
No.
Yeah, 24.
24. So when you keep it in context from Romans 9, 13 through 24, Paul is talking about Jacob and Esau, yo. Jacob and Esau. Now, watch what Paul calls Esau in verse 17. Read verse 17.
Verse 17. For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh.
But the scripture saith unto who?
Unto Pharaoh.
Who is Pharaoh? An Egyptian. An Egyptian. Paul is calling the Edomite the Egyptian, yo. Calling him Pharaoh, the ruler of Egypt. Keep reading.
Even for this same purpose have I raised thee up.
Even for this same purpose have I raised thee up. Edom became a world superpower for the same reason that ancient Egypt became a world superpower. Let's see what that reason is. Read.
That I might show my power in thee.
That's the reason. So God can show his power in Edom. In the same way he showed his power in ancient Egypt. Real talk. Keep reading.
And that my name might be declared throughout all the earth.
That his name might be declared throughout all the earth again, like it was when he showed his power in ancient Egypt. Paul is telling you, or he's calling the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, Pharaoh, the Egyptian, yo. Real talk. So when you go back to the book of Isaiah chapter 19, read verse 2 again.
In the book of Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians.
This is the white man fighting against the white man. Edom fighting Edom. Read.
And they shall fight every one against his brother.
His brother is another Edomite. Read.
And every one against his neighbor.
His neighbor is another Edomite. Read.
City against city.
City against city.
And kingdom against kingdom.
Read that last part.
And kingdom against kingdom.
And kingdom against kingdom. That's Matthew 24. Go back to Matthew 24. Matthew 24 and 7 again.
The book of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 7.
Read.
For nation shall rise against nation.
That's nationality at war with another nationality. Read.
And kingdom against kingdom.
That's Edom fighting Edom head. Edom at war with Edom. Russia and the Ukraine. Read.
And there shall be famine.
And there shall be famines.
And pestilences.
And pestilences.
And earthquakes.
And earthquakes.
In diverse places.
This is the time that we're living in today, man. We're living in a time where there are famines, which are food shortages, hunger. We're living in a time where there are pestilences, where there are diseases, sicknesses, illnesses are on the rise. We're living in a time where earthquakes are on the rise. And all these things are on the rise. Where? In diverse places. Diverse places around the world. Give me my second folder. Let me get my second folder. Let's talk about famines first. Remember, these things will be in diverse places around the world. Let me know we're straight. We good.
Refugees from Sudan arrive at Chad's border, exhausted and traumatized. Leaving everything behind, their needs are immediate and basic. Food, water, shelter. The people here to help warn there is not enough.
The biggest challenge for us is really to get the resources that we need. That's the key, because without the resource, you can't purchase the food that you need to be brought to the border. The second is really about the time. We really have a short time, first of all, to assist those people, because some of them already crossed with some food, but they don't have any food anymore, and at least, 1 meal a day is really the basic that we should provide. So time is really essence now.
A serious funding shortfall has meant making impossible choices. The UN is halting programs for hundreds of thousands of other refugees from past conflicts, including Darfur, to help the latest arrivals from Sudan.
These men are working to unload sacks of...
You can stop that. So famine in the Sudan. Go over. Next one.
There have been more civilians killed in Haiti than Ukraine in the...
Haiti, famine threat, food shortages. Damn, you rewind as soon as I started reading it. All right, cool. Haiti, famine threat, food shortages, and gang crime on the increase, yo. Haiti's dealing with famine, yo. Food shortages. And you know what comes with famine and food shortages? Crimes. Violent crimes. Gang crimes. That's what comes with famines and food shortages. Food insecurity. Press play. Bring it back and press play.
There were more civilians killed in Haiti than Ukraine in the first months of 2023, according to the...
He said there were more civilians, there were more people killed in Haiti than in the Ukraine in the first few months of 2023. And there's a goddamn war in the Ukraine.
Supposedly.
Yeah, well, no, there's a war in the Ukraine. And there's a war in Haiti as well, goddamn it, obviously.
It's just more casual in Haiti.
Damn, right. Press play.
Nations World Food Programme. Powerful gangs are battling overmatched police in the streets of the capital, Port-au-Prince. In the middle, the population. Exclandia Belisaire lives in Cité Soleil, an epic...
Next one. I want to save time.
It's been 4 long, hot months since the East Nusa Tenggara region has seen rain.
Indonesia drought. Thousands face shortages, yo. Food shortages, water shortages. Read. Let me press play.
These once fertile rice fields are now terraces of parched dirt. Thousands of hectares in the Prabakun village in the East Sumba district have been destroyed by drought.
The rain stopped in May this year. We haven't been able to plant anything since then. We need help from...
He said the rain stopped since May this year. God damn, boy. God damn. We about to go into November. God damn. He said there ain't been no rain since May. Damn it, press play.
We have to ration our food because the rice that we have is not enough to consume like on normal days.
Residents are also struggling to access clean water. With catchments and rivers reduced to a trickle, they have no choice but to walk kilometres to the nearest riverbed and take supplies back to their village to drink, wash and irrigate their dying crops.
All right,
What
you
the
can stop.
Scully?
Yeah, you can stop. Hey, go over. Let's see what else I got here.
Potentially deadly infection from a
pause.
fungus is...
So we just talked about famines, food shortages around the world. We had the Sudan, we got Haiti, we had Indonesia. You know what I'm saying? Diverse places around the world, right? So now we're gonna talk about pestilence, which is going into diseases and sicknesses. Press play.
Potentially deadly infection from a fungus is spreading, with the CDC now sounding the alarm tonight, warning people this is serious for older folks, like if you have a parent or a grandparent in a nursing home. Cases of what's called CRS tripling between 2020 and 2021. And part of what's so concerning here is that it's not easy to treat. This kind of infection is resistant to most drugs. I want to show you how much it's been spreading since 2016, from 4 states then reporting cases to 21 states now. Nobody is in freak-out mode yet, to be clear. This is still rare. It's not a threat to folks who are otherwise generally healthy. Dr. John Torres is with me now to break this down. And Dr. John, while it is not like freak-out mode yet, there is a concern that this, and I don't want to overstate it here, but the worry that perhaps this could develop into the next MRSA. I think people know that as that sort of drug-resistant infection that you can pick up and that can be pretty scary.
And Hallie, the thing of it is the World Health Organization said this is a global hit.
Okay, that's perfect. That's good. That's straight.
Indian authorities are scrambling to contain an outbreak of the deadly Nipah virus after 2 people died of the disease in Kerala and at least 3 others tested positive. It's the state's 4th outbreak since 2018 and has left the region on edge, with schools and offices closed and a mass testing effort underway. So what do we know about the virus? Nipah was first identified in 1998 when pig farmers in Malaysia and Singapore began to fall ill. The outbreak ultimately killed more than 100 of the nearly 300 people infected. Scientists learned that humans can contract Nipah directly through contact with the bodily fluids of infected bats and pigs or through contaminated food.
All right, stop.
With some
Next one. Let's see here. What's next?
Yet again. According to the World
COVID-19.
Health Organization, the number of new COVID-19 cases reported worldwide rose by 80% in the last month alone. Days after designating the new variant of interest, this new variant is Omicron's subvariant EG.5. In its weekly update, the United Nations agency said that
COVID
nations
cases on the
reported
rise
nearly
in the
1.5
US, UK, France, and Japan. The
cases.
WHO declares Ares COVID strain variant of interest.
July 10th to August 6th, an 18% increase compared to the previous 28 days. However, the number of deaths fell by 57% to 2,500. Many of the new cases are reported in the Western Pacific region, which saw infections jump by 137%. Several countries in the Northern Hemisphere, including the US, UK, France, and Japan, have seen a summer uptick in cases in recent weeks. Experts have suggested that summer gatherings and trouble, declining immunity, and a new subvariant may have had...
You can stop that. So you see COVID still around, on the rise in a lot of places around the world. Go over. What we got next?
Well, turning now to an important medical headline, health officials just announced the concerning rise of STIs across the country, and experts say the rates...
So not only do you have these different fungal diseases, and COVID-19 still out here on the rise, STIs, STDs are on the rise as well. STIs, sexually transmitted infections. STDs, sexually transmitted diseases. These things are on the rise as well. Press play.
No sign of slowing down.
So let's bring in Dr. Darian again and break this down for us. What do we need to know about this public health issue?
Well, unfortunately, it's something that I deal with commonly as an emergency physician, talking about sexually transmitted infections. In the past couple of days to months, we've seen increases specifically related before and after the pandemic. Recently, the CDC released reports that rates of chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis have accelerated.
Look at that. God damn, boy. Press play.
terms of the amounts of positive tests that we're finding, and it's been the highest that we've seen in over 20 years. And so that's really concerning, and just a movement to get more people to get tested and to become aware of these infections that we need to control.
You mentioned the rising rate after the pandemic, people back out there again interacting with people. What's driving up these rates?
What the?
I think it's a couple of things.
Did you hear that stupid ass question? She said, what is driving up the rates of the STIs and the STDs? That's a dumb ass question. That is a woman with a W. I didn't say the one I wanted to really say. That's a woman with a W, yo. Let me explain to you what's driving up the STDs and STIs. Fornication, man. Whoremongering. Whoredom. Hot girl summers. Sowing your royal oats. That's what's driving up the syphilis cases. That's what's driving up the herpes cases. The bumps. You know, recently I just found out what R.L. Stein meant by goosebumps. I just realized that each monster in the story was a similitude for the different herpes simplex. So say cheese and die. That was all right. Oops. Hey. Anyway. Hey, give me Hebrews real quick. No, you good. Leave it right there. Hebrews chapter 13, man. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 4.
The book of Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 4. Marriage is honorable in all.
Marriage is an honorable thing.
Yep.
But in today's world, in today's society, marriage rates are declining, man. Marriage isn't honored in today's times. Nobody's respecting the institution of marriage. Most niggas don't even want to get married today. Hell, most women don't even want to get married. If you want to be honest, but the Bible said, what? Read it again.
Marriage is honorable in all.
Marriage is honorable in all. Read.
And the bed undefiled.
And the bed is undefiled. Whatever you want to do with your spouse, you can do that thing. Read.
But whoremongers
with the W, whoremongers, which is male hoes and female hoes, read.
And adulterers,
read.
God will judge.
God judges them. How? STDs and STIs. Why are STDs and STIs on the rise? Because fornication is at an all-time high, yo. All types of fornication, too. Incest, homosexuality, lesbianism, bestiality, interracial dating. All types of fornication is at an all-time high today, yo. Hey, give me 1 Maccabees chapter 3. You know what? Give me 1 Maccabees chapter 3 real quick. Not only are STDs on the rise, but a lot of these diseases and infections and plagues are on the rise as well today.
Oh, pestilence.
Yeah, pestilences. Like what we just saw. Real talk. And this is why. Give me 1 Maccabees 3 and 29.
The book of 1 Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 29.
Read.
Nevertheless, when he saw that the money of his treasures fell.
It's talking about Antiochus. When he saw that he was going broke. Read.
And that the tributes in the country were small.
And that the tributes in the country were small, meaning he wasn't collecting as much tax from the people as he was before. Can you read?
Because of the decision and plague.
And this is the reason why. Because in his land there was dissension and plague. What is dissension? Quarreling, fighting, war, arguing, debate, strife. And there was plague. Plague is sickness, illness, disease, pestilence. Those things were in his land, just like today. Just like today. When you look around today, all throughout the world, in the different continents of the world, what do you see? Dissension and plague. Dissension and plague. And we're going to find out why we see dissension and plague. Keep reading.
Which he had bought upon the land.
Which he had bought upon the land himself. Antiochus brought that on the land himself. Just like the leaders of today's world, the elite. They brought these things upon themselves. Why?
And taking away the laws which had been of old time.
And that's why there was dissension and plague in his community, in his country. Because he took away the laws of God from the people, man. Just like the elites and those who rule the world today. They have taken away the laws of old, the laws of God from the people. So what do you see in America and in Europe, the Ukraine, the so-called Middle East? Dissension. What do you see in South America, Mexico, Africa? Plague. Why? Because the laws of God are not being kept, yo. The laws of God are not being kept. Real talk. Hey, let's skip this. We don't need to hear any more about the STDs or the STIs. I know a lot of you brothers and sisters, y'all know about them already. May the Lord have mercy on you. Let me get this article real quick. So we talked about famines. We talked about pestilence. Let's talk about earthquakes. Earthquakes real quick. Look at this. February 6, 2023. Turkey, Syria earthquake news. Yep, go over. Read that.
More than 4,300 people have been killed and thousands injured after a magnitude 7.8 earthquake struck Turkey and Syria early Monday, according to officials and agencies.
God damn it. 4,300 people killed. Killed. Thousands injured after a magnitude 7-point earthquake. This was this year. Struck Turkey and Syria. Go over. Oh, no, go back real quick. I see. Look at that. Thousands of buildings collapsed. Real talk. The next bullet point. The quake, one of the strongest to hit the region in more than 100 years. Go over. September 11th, 2023. Latest news on Morocco earthquake. So September 11th, there was an earthquake in Morocco, yo. Read. I'm going to go over. Keep saying read. Read that for me.
Rescuers are racing against the clock to find survivors in the rubble and reach isolated communities after Friday's powerful earthquake. More than 2,800 people have been killed.
More than 2,800 people have been killed. Read.
And 2,500 injured, according to Moroccan state media.
And 2,500 more people injured. Go over. Afghan earthquakes kills 2,445. Taliban says as deaths mount. Look at that date. October 8th, 2023. Go over. Let's see here. Read that. More than 2,400 people were killed in earthquakes in Afghanistan. The Taliban administration said on Sunday. You can stop. So look at that. Earthquakes all over the world in diverse places. And there was a lot more that I could have pulled up. I just wanted to get the most deadly earthquakes. The most deadly earthquakes so far of this year, yo. Real talk. Over. That was it. All praises. Hey, give me 2nd Ezra 9 real quick. Give me the 2nd Ezra 9 and 1. 2nd Ezra 9 and 1.
It's the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9 and verse 1. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself.
Read.
And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before,
Read.
Then shalt thou understand.
You know, in order to see, you're going to have to be watching, yo. If you're not watching, you're not going to see these signs as they pass, yo. And if you don't see these signs as they pass, you don't understand. You will not understand. Read verse 2 again.
Then shalt thou understand.
Read.
That it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
That's talking about Christ, yo. That's talking about Christ visiting the world. Visiting the world which he made. That's how you know it's talking about Christ. He gave it away right there. Give me that John 1. John 1. You have something for me?
Hebrews would say he made the world.
Oh, you can get that next. You can get that next. If you want to bring it out, yeah, do your thing. But give me John chapter 1. I want to read 1 through 3, and then I want to jump down.
The book of St. John chapter 1 verse 1.
Read.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
And the Word was God. Read.
The same was in the beginning with God.
Read.
All things were made by him.
All things were made by him. Talking about the Word. Read.
And without him was not anything made that was made.
Jump down to verse 10.
Verse 10. He was in the world.
He was in the world.
And the world was made by him.
And the world was made by him. He made the world. Read.
And the world knew him not.
And the world knew him not. Bring out your precept. Oh, is it more?
No.
Bring out your precept.
The book of Hebrews chapter 1 and verse 1. God, who at sundry times.
Who at sundry times, meaning different times or diverse times, read.
And in diverse manners.
Meaning different ways or sundry ways, read.
Spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets.
Read.
Having these last days spoken unto us by his Son.
He spoke to us in the last days through his Son, Jesus Christ, read.
Whom he have appointed heir of all things.
Here we go, read.
By whom also he made the world.
By whom also he made the world. Show. He made the worlds. Finish the verse.
That was verse 2.
Give me Revelation 4 and 11. Just one more. Revelation chapter 4 and verse 11. Let me get that.
The book of Revelation chapter 4 and verse 11.
Matter of fact, hold on. Let me see if I want to start. Yep, start there.
Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power, for thou hast created all things.
For thou hast created all things, meaning he made all things. Read.
And for thy pleasure they are and were created.
And for his pleasure they were and are created, meaning made. So when it's talking about in 2nd Ezra 9, talking about the highest will visit the earth which he made, that's talking about Christ, yo. Hey, get that in Isaiah 29 and verse 6 about how the Lord visits the earth.
The book of Isaiah chapter 29 and in verse 6. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder.
The Lord visits the earth in thunder.
And with earthquake.
And in earthquakes.
And in great noise.
And in great noise.
With storm.
With storms.
And tempest.
And tempest.
And the flame of devouring fire.
And with the flame of devouring fire. This is how he visits the earth that he made, yo. In earthquake, storm, tempest. Tempest, that's dealing with hurricanes, tornadoes. Real talk. They just had a Category 5 hurricane that just hit Mexico. Just touched Mexico. Did some damage. Real talk. The Lord visits the earth. Hey, get 2nd Ezra 6 about why he visits the earth real quick. 2nd Ezra chapter 6. And I want to read verse. I don't want to read the whole thing. So let's jump down to verse 18.
In the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 18.
Read.
And it said.
Read.
Behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh.
This is talking about the Lord. This is the Lord speaking to Ezra right here. Matter of fact, let's prove that this is the Lord speaking to Ezra. Let's jump up. Let's read 11 on down real quick.
In the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 11. I answered then and said, O Lord, thou bearest rule. If I have found favor in thy sight,
read.
I beseech thee, show thy servant the end of thy tokens.
Tokens are signs. Keep reading.
Whereof thou showedest me part the last night.
Keep reading.
So he answered and said unto me, stand upon thy feet, and hear a mighty sounding voice. And it shall be as it were a great motion.
He said, when you hear this voice, it's going to feel like a great motion, a great moving. Read.
But the place where thou standest shall not be moved.
But there won't be any motion. Nothing's going to be moved. Read.
And therefore, when I speakest, be not afraid.
Therefore, when it speaks, talking about this voice, don't be afraid. Don't get scared. Read.
For the word is of the end.
The word is going to speak to you. This voice is going to speak to you about what? The end. The end. Read.
And the foundation of the earth is understood.
Read.
And why? Because the speech of these things trembleth and is moved.
And is moved.
For it knoweth that the end of these things must be changed.
Because it knows that the end of these things must be changed. What things must be changed? Get that in Psalm 102 real quick. We'll come right back. What has to be changed? Psalm chapter 102. And let me get there real quick. I want Psalm chapter 102 and 25.
Look at Psalm chapter 102 verse 25. Of old hast thou laid the foundation of the earth.
Talking about the Lord. He laid the foundation of the earth of old, in old times. Read.
And the heavens are the work of thy hands.
And the heavens are the work of his hands. Read.
They shall perish.
They shall perish. It's talking about the earth and the heavens. They shall perish. Read.
But thou shalt endure.
But the Lord endures. Read.
Yea, all of them shall wax old like a garment.
Talking about the earth and the heavens. They shall wax old like a garment. Read.
As a vesture shalt thou change them.
And as a vesture shalt thou change them. Read.
And they shall be changed.
And they shall be changed. What is he talking about? The earth and the heavens. The earth and the heavens must be changed. So when we go back to 2nd Ezra chapter 6 again. 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 16.
The book of 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 16. And why? Because the speech of these things trembleth and is moved. For it knoweth that the end of these things must be changed.
Talking about the heavens and the earth. They have to be changed, yo. Read.
And it happened that when I had heard it.
When I heard this voice, read.
I stood up upon my feet.
I stood up on my feet.
And hearkened.
And I listened.
And behold.
And behold.
There was a voice that spake.
There was a voice that spake. Read.
And the sound of it.
And the sound of this voice.
Was like the sound of many waters.
That's how you know it's talking about Christ. Give me that real quick in Revelation chapter 1. He said the voice. This voice had a sound like many waters, yo. Like many waters. This is how you know it's talking about Christ. Revelation 1:1.
The book of Revelation chapter 1 and verse 1. Read. The revelation of Jesus Christ.
The revealing of Christ. Jump down to 14.
Verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool.
His head and his hairs white like wool.
As white as snow.
White as snow.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire. And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace.
He's a so-called black man, right?
And his voice.
And his what?
And his voice.
Like what?
As the sound of many waters.
That's how you know that Christ was talking to Ezra in 2nd Ezra chapter 6, yo. Go back to 2nd Ezra chapter 6. 2nd Ezra chapter 6, read 17 one more time.
2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 17. And it happened that when I had heard it, I stood up upon my feet and hearkened. And behold, there was a voice that spake. And the sound of it was like the sound of many waters.
It was Christ that was speaking. Christ spoke to Ezra. Some people say you can't find Christ in the Old Testament or in the Apocrypha. Wrong. Keep reading.
Verse 18. And it said, behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh.
He said, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh. Yo, just in case y'all thought we was capping when we told you it's Christ that's visiting the earth. Read that again.
Verse 18. And it said, behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh.
That I will begin to draw nigh. Read.
And to visit them that dwell upon the earth.
And to visit them that dwell upon the earth. It is the Lord that is visiting the earth and the people in the earth. Read.
Verse 19. And will begin to make inquisition of them.
And this is why he's visiting. He's visiting, making inquisition. Doing investigation. Making inquisition of them. Keep reading.
Would they be that have hurt unjustly?
He's making inquisition about those who hurt unjustly. Those who kill, commit murder. It's you sisters who kill your unborn babies. Y'all call them abortions. You too. Keep reading.
With their unrighteousness.
With their unrighteousness. Read.
And when the affliction of Zion.
The affliction of Zion. We read that in 2 Ezra 15 when it talked about Israel being led like a flock to the slaughter. We read that in 2 Ezra 11 where it talked about their dead bodies shall be in the street of the great city. Read that part again.
And when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled.
And when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled. Read.
And when the world that shall begin to vanish away.
That's this world right here. This is that world that's beginning to vanish away. Read.
Shall be finished.
When it's finished.
Then will I show these tokens.
Read.
The books shall be opened before the firmament. And they shall see all together.
So when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled, when the affliction of Zion is fulfilled, that's when this world is finished. That's what he just told you. Yo, that's what he just told you. When the affliction of Zion is done, fulfilled, this world is finished, man. You got to say all praises to the highest for that day right there.
All praises.
No, I'm talking about 2 Ezra 9 again. 2 Ezra chapter 9 and verse 2 one more time.
The book of 2 Ezra chapter 9 and verse 2.
Read.
Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
Talking about Christ, read.
Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes.
When there shall be seen what?
Earthquakes.
When there shall be seen earthquakes, yo. Like what we just showed you, read.
And uproars of the people.
Uproars of the people, that's insurrections, riotings, public demonstrations. Keep reading.
In the land, in the world. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning.
Even from the beginning. All praises. Give me Matthew 24 again. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 7.
The book of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 7.
Read.
For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom.
Read.
And there shall be famines, and pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places.
Famines, pestilence, earthquakes in diverse places. This is the time that we are in now, presently. Read.
All these are the beginning of sorrows.
All of these things are the beginnings of sorrows, yo. The beginnings of sorrows for the world, yo. For the world. Hey, why does God bring pestilences and earthquakes? We read, you get pestilences and fighting and quarreling when you take away God's laws. Hey, give me 2 Ezra 16. Let's go there real quick. Let me get 2 Ezra chapter 16. Oh, you know what? Yeah, 16, 19. Read that for me.
The book of 2 Ezra chapter 16 verse 19.
Read.
Behold, famine and plague.
Behold, famine and plague, food shortages and sicknesses. Read.
Tribulation.
Troubles. Tribulation comes from earthquakes, like we saw. But keep reading.
And anguish are sent as scourges for amendment.
That's the reason why God sends these things, yo. He sends these things to correct the people in the world, man. To correct the people, so that the people will turn from their evil ass, wicked ways, man. Real talk. Hey, give me chapter 15. Give me chapter 15 and verse 17.
The book of 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city.
That's not what I want. Hold on. I don't want that. I wrote down the wrong thing. 16, 17.
The book of 2 Ezra chapter 16 and verse 17. Woe is me, woe is me. Who will deliver me in those days?
Who will deliver me in those days? The Lord. The Lord is the deliverer, yo. Real talk. Give me that real quick in 2 Samuel. 2 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 1. We're going to read 1 and 2.
Book of 2 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 1. Read. And it came to pass after this that David inquired of the Lord, saying, shall I go up into any of the cities of Judah?
2 Samuel 22. My fault, man. I don't know why. I wrote down 2 Samuel 2.
22
and 1. My fault.
The book of 2 Samuel chapter 22 and verse 1. And David spake unto the Lord the words of this song, and the day that the Lord have delivered him out of the hand of all his enemies, and out of the hand of Saul. And he said, the Lord is my rock.
There we go. He said, the Lord is my rock.
And my fortress.
And my fortress.
And my deliverer.
And my deliverer. The Lord is my rock. That's the deliverer right there, man. Get that about Christ being the rock. First Corinthians 10. Start at 1, read down to 4, read fast.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 4. And did all drink the same...
Start at 1, read down, read fast.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 1. Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant, how that all our fathers were under the cloud, and all passed through the sea, and were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea.
Keep reading.
And did all eat the same spiritual meat, and did all drink the same spiritual drink, for they drank of that spiritual rock.
They drank of that spiritual rock, read.
And that followed them.
And that followed them, read.
And that rock.
And that rock
was Christ.
Was Christ. The Lord is my rock. That's talking about Christ. That's the deliverer right there, yo. That is the deliverer. Give me Psalms chapter 70 and verse 5. Psalm 70 verse 5.
The book of Psalms chapter 70 and verse 5.
This is a psalm of David. Read.
But I am poor and needy.
But I am poor and needy. Who is he talking about? The Israelites. We are the poor. We are the needy. Real talk. We're the ones who need justice and judgment. We're the poor. We're the needy. Read.
Make haste unto me, O God.
Read.
Thou art my help and my deliverer.
Thou art my help and my deliverer. God is our help. That is our deliverer. Read.
O Lord, make no tarrying.
Make no tarrying. No tarrying. Hey, give me 2 Ezra chapter 15. Now, we know the Lord is the deliverer. The deliverer of his people. Matter of fact, Daniel 12. Give me that one first. Give me Daniel chapter 12 and verse 1.
The book of Daniel chapter 12 in verse 1.
Because somebody might think the Lord is the deliverer for all people and every people. Let's see. Read that.
The book of Daniel chapter 12 and verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people.
For the children of thy people, Daniel's people, which are the Israelite people. Yo,
that's right.
Keep reading.
And there shall be a time of trouble.
That's Jacob's trouble. Read.
Such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time.
Keep going.
And at that time.
And at that time.
Thy people.
And at that time, thy people, Daniel's people, which are the Israelite people, read.
Shall be delivered.
Shall be delivered. Deliverance is only for the Israelites. Only for the people of God. That's it. Read.
Everyone that shall be found written in the book.
But it's not for all of the Israelites. It's only for those of Israel who are found written in the book. What book? The Lamb's book of life, yo. Real talk. If you're not found written in the Lamb's book of life, there's no deliverance for you. No deliverance for you. Hey, give me 2 Ezra chapter 15. Let me get 2 Ezra 15 and let's start at 22.
2 Ezra chapter 15 verse 22. My right hand shall not spare the sinners.
The right hand of God is Christ. The Bible says he will not spare the sinners. Read.
And my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth.
Read.
The fire is gone forth from his wrath, and have consumed the foundations of the earth. And the sinners.
And who?
And the sinners.
Read.
Like the straw that is kindled.
Keep going.
Woe to them that sin.
Woe unto them that sin. Read.
And keep not my commandments, saith the Lord.
Woe, sorrow, destruction to the Israelite men and women that sin and don't keep his commandments. Read.
I will not spare them.
The Lord said he will not spare you.
Go your way,
Go your way.
children. From the power.
Get away from the power. Read.
Defile not my sanctuary.
Keep reading.
For the Lord knoweth all of them that sin against him.
The Lord knows all of them that sin against him. You can't hide. Read.
And therefore delivereth he them unto death and destruction.
So he delivers them to death and destruction. Read.
For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth.
For now the plagues come upon the whole earth.
And ye shall remain in them.
And ye shall what?
And ye shall remain in them.
Keep going.
For God shall not deliver you.
For God shall not deliver you. Who is he talking about? The sinners of his people. Those who do not do his commandments. He said he will not deliver you. Read.
Because ye have sinned against him.
And it's because you have sinned against him. Yo, give me that real quick in Exodus chapter 32. Exodus chapter 32 real quick. Remember, the Lord's only going to deliver those Israelites that are found written in the book of life. Give me Exodus chapter 32 and 33.
The book of Exodus chapter 32 and verse 33. And the Lord said unto Moses, whosoever hath sinned against me,
whosoever hath sinned against me,
him will I blot out of my book.
Him will I blot out of my book. What book? The book of life, yo. If you're not found written in the book of life, there's no deliverance for you, man. Give me that real quick in Revelation 20. Revelation chapter 20 in the last verse. Let me get that.
The book of Revelation chapter 20 and verse 15. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life.
And whosoever was not found among the children of Israel. Whosoever was not found written in the book of life. That's talking about the Israelites that sin against him, that don't keep his commandments. Read.
Was cast into the lake of fire.
You know they were delivered.
Was cast into the lake of fire.
There's no deliverance for you. Unless that deliverance is to death and destruction. Real talk. But there's no deliverance from death and destruction if you're not found written in the book of life. Hey, let's go back to the book of 2 Ezra chapter 16 and verse 17.
2 Ezra chapter 16 and verse 17. Woe is me, woe is me. Who will deliver me in those days?
Who will deliver me in those days? If you're keeping God's commandments, the Lord will deliver you in those days. Now, if you're not keeping God's commandments, nobody will deliver you in those days. Nobody. Read.
Verse 18. The beginning of sorrows.
The beginning of what?
The beginning of sorrows.
This is what Christ was talking about in Matthew chapter 24. These days are the beginnings of sorrows, man. Read.
And great mournings.
And great mournings.
The beginning of famine.
The beginning of famine.
And great death.
And great death. From famine comes great death, man. Read.
The beginning of wars.
The beginning of wars. We are in the time of wars. And this is just the beginning. It's going to get worse. It's going to escalate, man. It's going to escalate into World War. World War III. Keep going.
And the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils.
This is the beginning of evils.
What shall I do when these evils shall come?
Read.
Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for admittment.
These things are sent to the earth, to the people of the earth, to scourge them so that they get right, get corrected. Read.
But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness.
But for all these things, we don't turn from our wickedness, read.
Nor be all the way mindful of the scourges.
Nor are we always mindful of the scourges, man. Meaning, after the time passed, we forget. The people forget. The people forget. The people don't change, man. The people don't change. And the reason why is because the people are wicked as hell. But before we get that, give me...
stiff-necked and rebellious.
Yeah, right. Stiff-necked and rebellious. Give me Revelation.
Uncircumcised and
Revelation chapter 9, we're going to start at 13.
The book of Revelation chapter 9 verse 13. And the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before God, saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the four angels were loose, which were prepared for an hour, and a day, and a month, and a year, for to slay the third part of men.
For to kill a third part of mankind, Joe. Read.
And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. And I heard the number of them. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire, and of jacinth, and brimstone. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions. And out of their mouth issued fire, and smoke, and brimstone.
So what is he saying? War. He's saying war. Vehicles that have the ability to shoot missiles, man. To shoot missiles. That's what he's saying. Keep reading.
By these three was the third part of men killed.
By these three things were a third part of mankind killed. Read.
By the fire.
Fire.
And by the smoke.
Yeah, smoke.
And by the brimstone.
And brimstone.
Which issued out of their mouths.
Read.
For their power is in their mouth, and in their tails, for the tails were like unto serpents,
Read.
And had heads, and with them they do hurt.
So what is John seeing here? War. He's seeing war men. And he's seeing many men and women and children killed. Killed because of these wars, man. A third part of mankind killed. That's what John is seeing. But keep reading.
And the rest of the men which were not killed by
But the
these
rest
plagues,
of the men that were not killed, meaning those that survived these plagues, these wars, read.
yet repented not of the works of their hands.
He said they didn't repent. They didn't change, from worshiping idols. Keep reading.
That they should not worship devils.
Read.
And idols of gold.
Read.
And silver and brass and stone. And of wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk.
Read.
Neither repented they of their murders.
Neither repented they of their murder. They kept killing. Read.
Nor of their sorceries.
They continued in their sorceries. Read.
Nor of their fornication.
They continued in their fornication. So STDs continued to rise. Read.
Nor of their thefts.
And they continued to steal, yo. Give me chapter 16. Revelation 16 and 8.
The book of Revelation chapter 16 and verse 8.
Remember, in 2nd Ezra, he told us, these famines and plagues and tribulations, these are sent for amendments. These are sent to correct the people. But the people don't change, The people don't repent. I'm showing you that not only did Ezra see that, John saw that same fact. Read this real quick.
The book of Revelation chapter 16 and verse 8. And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire.
Read.
And men were scorched with great heat, and blasphemed the name of God.
And they blasphemed the name of God because of the great heat.
Which have power over these plagues.
Who has power over these plagues, read.
And they repented not.
And they what?
And they repented not to give him glory.
The people will not repent. They will not repent to give God glory. Why? Because ultimately, they're wicked as hell, yo. Give me that real quick about the wicked don't change. Give me that in Psalm, what is it, 55? Let me get that real quick. Psalm 55. Let me get that. Psalms chapter 55, and I want to read verse 19.
With Psalms,
matter of fact, start at verse 3.
All right. The book of Psalms, chapter 55 and verse 3. Because of the voice of the enemy, because of the oppression of the wicked.
Because of the oppression of the wicked. The wicked is the enemy. Who are we talking about? The wicked, the enemy. Read.
For they cast iniquity upon me, and in wrath they hate me.
Verse 19.
Verse 19. God shall hear.
God shall hear our prayers, our complaints. Read.
And afflict them.
And shall afflict them. The enemy, the oppressor, the wicked. Read.
Even he that abideth of old. Selah.
Here we go.
Because they have no changes.
Because they have no changes, man. They don't change. Even though God is sending plagues all over the world, the wicked, they don't change, man. Read.
Therefore they fear not God.
And it's because they don't fear God. They don't truly fear, yo. Hey, from there, let's go back to the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16. And I want to read verse, hold on. 2nd Ezra 16 and verse 20 and 21.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16 and verse 20. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness.
For all these things, all these plagues, famine, tribulation, war, earthquakes, pestilence, all these plagues, they won't turn. Read. From their wickedness, read.
Nor be all the way mindful of the scourges.
Nor be always mindful of the scourges. Keep reading.
Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth.
Hey, hold this. Give me number 3. Folder number 3 real quick. Let me get that. Notice what he said. Victuals shall be so cheap on earth. Victuals shall be so cheap on earth. Let me know when we straight. Read that again while you get it.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 21. For behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth.
Behold, victuals shall be so cheap upon the earth, yo. Remember this? Burger Day, National Burger Day? Yeah, no. McDonald's to sell 50-cent double cheeseburgers to celebrate National Cheeseburger Day with Mickey D's. Just download their app, man. Download their app. Go over. Look at that. Wendy's participated too. Wendy's was offering 1-cent burgers for National Hamburger. This right here is victuals so cheap upon the earth.
But they can't make it cheap like that.
That's Biddle's cheap upon the earth right there. Go over. This right here, look at that. These are all the, these are some of the chains that participated. Wendy's, McDonald's, Burger King, free cheeseburger with $1 app purchase. White Castles, we ain't got that down here that I know about. Buy one, get one free. Sliders in the apps. Why would you want a one White Castle slider? That's
Yeah, well, you get a double cheeseburger.
White Castle. Y'all can go to hell with that one. Dairy Queen, free cheeseburger. Carl's Jr. See, these places participated in that National Cheeseburger Day. This is Vittles, so cheap, so built on the earth. What I got next? All right, hold on. I wanna watch this video. I wanna go to start at 27 seconds. I want y'all to hear what Rabbi Finkelstein said. Really, we don't call him Rabbi, because Christ told us don't call no man what? Rabbi. He is not a rabbi. He is just a Finkelstein. That's all he is. Whatever his name sounds like to you, that's what he is. Straight up. Let's start at 27 seconds. We're going to end at 102. Watch what he says. For all y'all that participated in Burger Day, McDonald's, White Castles, listen to your homeboy.
1,000 children a year just here in this country, and we drain the blood and we mix it with a...
Little bit. Right there, look at that.
Grinds them up and puts them in the McDonald's hamburger meat.
I mean, we steal 100 to 300,000 children a year just here in this country, and we drain the blood.
You heard what he said? We steal 200 to 300,000 children a year in this country, and we drain their blood. All right, press play. Bring it back a little bit more. One more time. All right.
Grinds them up and puts them in the McDonald's hamburger meat.
I mean, we steal 100 to 300,000 children a year just here in this country, and we drain the blood and we mix it with the Passover blood, and then we throw the bodies into the slaughterhouses that we own, and we grind up all the bodies and the sausage and the hamburger. McDonald's is one of our favorite outlets, and the people, they eat it for breakfast, they eat their children for lunch, and, as Jews, we gotta learn, we gotta do what we do. The most important thing to remember between you, Pastor Wickstone, and me, Rabbi Amy Finkelstein of New York, that we both have two fathers, and so that's why we look at the world in two different ways.
I just have to refute this story because after researching it...
Of course he's going to have to refute the story because he don't want to believe it's true. But give me Revelations 2 and 9 about the goddamn devil real quick. Because I'm going to tell you what Christ said about these people right here. These Amalekites. Because that's who they really are. They are Amalekites. Read Revelation chapter 2 and verse 9, please.
The book of Revelation chapter 2 and verse 9.
Read out.
I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich.
Who is Christ talking to? The real Jews. You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You brothers that have to work. You brothers and sisters that got tribulation. You brothers and sisters going through poverty. You are who Christ is talking about. You're the rich. Keep reading.
And I know the blasphemy.
I know the blasphemy, meaning the goddamn lie. Read.
Of them which say they are Jews.
Of them which say they are Jews, like Finkelstein, for example. Read.
And are not.
Which are not Jews. Read.
But are the synagogue of Satan.
He wants to put it past Finkelstein. But Christ told you that's Satan right there. That is the goddamn devil. How can you put that past the devil? How can you put that past Satan? Satan is coming out and telling you some truth there, yo. Real talk, chapter 3 and 9.
The book of Revelation, chapter 3 and verse 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan.
He told you again, they are the synagogue of Satan, yo. These people are Satan. They are the devil, yo.
Right.
So this man is telling you that they're killing kids, putting kids into food, into burgers, in McDonald's.
Wait, is that 300?
But it's not just limited to McDonald's. And you gotta ask yourself, how do they get all these goddamn burgers? Is it that many cows in the world? In the United States of America, we can feed all these people every day?
The same.
All year? Wow, you gotta ask yourself, where do they get the meat from? We know some of it is impossible meat. But never mind, the impossible meat could be the kids. I don't know. I don't know.
In the lab.
All I can tell you is that they're the synagogue of Satan. So I wouldn't put nothing past the devil at all, yo. Hey, finish that verse and then give me the one in Psalm 64.
Verse 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not.
Which say they are Jews, like Finkelstein. He says he's a Jew, but he's not.
but do lie.
But they're liars. They're blasphemers. Read.
Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet.
One day he's going to come, him and all his people, they're going to come and worship at our feet. The Jews, the feet of the Jews. Read.
And to know that I have loved thee.
Hey, give me Psalm 64. Give me Psalm 64 and 8 real quick. This is prophecy right here.
Book of Psalms, chapter 64 and verse 8.
Read.
So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves.
What is he talking about? Talking about the so-called white man. The wicked. Read it again.
So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves.
What is he saying? He's saying that they are going to tell on themselves. They are going to expose themselves with their own words, man. With their own words. Read it again and read it through.
So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away.
All that see them, meaning when you see them for what they really are, that's when you will get the hell away from them. When you see them for the synagogue of Satan that they really are, you will get the hell away from them, yo. They are the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of. Give me my next video. And in case you don't think that they're the goddamn devil, watch these videos real quick. Let's check these out. Look at what the Amalekites are teaching each other in school. Let's see what they're teaching. First point. Pause this. Bring it back because I got to read it. They're speaking their Yiddish. It says, what comes to your mind when I say the word Jerusalem? Press play. Press pause. The Holy Land, Holy House, the Temple. Who thinks that the temple will be built in a few years? Press pause. Look at all these kids. You know, in order for them to build the temple, they would first have to destroy that Muslim mosque, the Dome of the Rock, yo. They would first have to destroy the Dome of the Rock, man. Do you know how many problems that's going to cause, man? How much trouble that's going to cause for them? Oh, my gosh. Yeah, y'all do that. Go ahead and unite the Arab world, man. We'll be sitting right here doing what Christ say.
Pray and watch.
Watch.
Watch
unto prayer. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, press play.
Yeah, we want y'all to build a temple, too.
What is there is place of temple now? Al-Aqsa Mosque.
Yeah,
What will happen to the mosque? It will collapse, explode, disappear. Who among you have met an Arabic kid in the last year?
No,
by Arabic kid, they meant sand nigga. Where did you meet the Arabic kid? Near the temple. Did you talk to him? Press pause. He said, did you talk to him? I know one of them was like, what, can I talk to animals?
No,
what are all animals?
He said, no, he pushed me away.
He pushed me away and left. Smart Arabic kid.
Not the Arab. That's what he did to the Arab kid.
Oh, he pushed the Arab kid away and left.
That's what he probably
Bring it back
did.
a little bit. Bring it back a little bit.
He probably did that.
Let's see. Bring it back. Did you talk to him, Press Boy? No, he's saying the Arab kid pushed him away. No, he pushed me away and left. That's a smart Arab, yo.
Yeah,
Smart.
no, I don't believe them Jewish people, man.
Shit, I believe that, man. Them Arabs, yo, them Arabs and them Amalekites, they don't get together, man. He pushed him away because he didn't believe him either. That's why he pushed his ass away. He don't believe him either. Press Boy, nobody believes that shit. What happened when you meet Arabic kids? What you feel? Angry. I feel I want to kill them. That's the synagogue of Satan right there. I feel I want to kill them. They see somebody and say, I just want to murder something. I just want to murder somebody.
I feel like I want to kill.
I want to murder somebody. Real talk. Press Boy. What happens when you meet an unreligious Jewish kid? We feel sorry for him because he is secular. Max Kellerman, they talk about you, man. Why do you feel sorry for him? Is it because he is not born religious? What did he lose? He is not moving in the right path. How do you see Jerusalem in the next 10 years? Everybody will be a religious Jew. And there will be Arabs, but they will be slaves. Oh, because the Messiah will be here. Got it? What do you say? There will be a massive war and all Arabs will die. And part of them will be our slaves. He's not that bright. You're going to tell us all of them are going to die and then talk about a part of them being slaves. This kid is not that bright. Press play. Good. You got all the information. You hear what she said? Good. Good. Killing Arabs, enslaving Arabs is good. Why don't the Christian apologetics talk about that? Go talk to them, man. Why y'all running up on the Israelites? They run up on us. Jewish people say this right here. Y'all need to go talk to them, man. Go talk to the devil about this right here. Keep going. Yeah, that's it. No, keep going. Thank you, kids. Keep up in your education here. They call that educating. They call that education. Murdering Arabs. That's what they call school.
I feel like killing. They call it education.
Real talk. Press play. Alright, stop there. Stop there. Give me my next video. I don't got too much more time left. Give me my next video.
Prisoners have been rescued from the jungle compound of a Jewish...
Pause. 3 dots. Enlarge the screen. See if we can fit this. Zoom in and fill. Alright, back. Bring it back. Y'all pay attention.
Minors have been rescued from the jungle compound of a Jewish extremist group in Mexico.
Children removed from Jewish sex compound in Mexico, man. In Mexico, Amalek were kidnapping kids, yo. In Mexico. Why they ain't put this on the mainstream news? Bring it back again.
Minors have been rescued from the jungle compound of a Jewish extremist group in Mexico following a raid by police. The Lev Tahor group, known for their extremist practices and imposing a strict regime on their members, was investigated on suspicion of trafficking minors in the jungle north of Tapachula in the Chiapas state.
You hear that? They were trafficking minors, yo. Trafficking children, man. Come on, yo. This ain't the synagogue of Satan? Press play.
Police worked alongside a team from Israel, including former Mossad agents, in planning and carrying out the operation that took about 2 years to plan. The team traveled between Israel and Guatemala, where the branch had lived since 2014, carrying out several surveillance operations and working with local authorities there and even a Guatemalan private investigator. 9 members of the group have been arrested, and those children rescued are now being flown to Israel to live with their extended families.
I feel bad for those kids.
Yeah, right.
The Tantura Massacre.
Now, I want y'all to pay attention to this. The Tantura Massacre. Bring this back. Remember, this is Amalek, the synagogue of Satan.
Tantura Massacre exposed.
Jonathan, they are not militants. I'm looking right at the camera. They are terrorists.
What about the Tantura Massacre? Let's see.
It is a barbarian who rapes and brutalizes women.
One of the soldiers raped a 16-year-old girl here. It's understood what happened was terrifying. Look at his face. He's so terrified. He is so terrified. Look at his face, man. He's scared to death.
That's just evil right there.
Who kills children in front of their parents.
In those days, if I even saw school children with their hands raised, I would kill them. Retired Israeli soldier. Retired soldier for the synagogue of Satan. That's what it's saying.
The idea.
עם ידיים למעלה, אז באותו יום הייתי רואה אותה, הייתי קוצר את כולם, עד כדי כך. כמה אתה חושב אנשים הרגת?
How many people did you kill this way?
So who's the real
I didn't count. It's not possible for me to know.
terrorist and barbarian?
Look how happy he is. Look how happy he is, man. I had a total of 250 bullets in my weapon. I fired and killed everyone. It's possible. It's impossible for me to count.
Damn
it, man. Well, damn it, man. Hey, give me John 10 and 10 about the thief real quick. St. John chapter 10 and verse 10 about the thief. We're going to get ready to close it out. We're going to cut it a little bit. We got more scripts, so we're going to cut it though because we're running short on time. St. John 10 and 10.
St. John chapter 10 and verse 10.
It's not back. It's not back yet. Up here.
Oh, zoom. Oh,
we straight. Okay, all right, that. Go ahead.
St. John chapter 10 verse 10. The thief cometh not, but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly.
Who is this thief here? The so-called white man. The so-called white man. Edom. Idumea. That's the thief. Christ told you the thief comes for nothing but to steal and to kill and destroy. That's what those people do. They steal, they kill, they destroy, man. For real. Hey, give me about the curse in Zechariah 5. The curse in Zechariah 5 about the thief. Start at verse, let me get that first. Let's see where I want to start at. Zechariah 5, and I want to start in verse 3.
The book of Zechariah chapter 5 verse 3. Then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth.
Read.
For every one that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side, according to it.
Read.
And every one that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side, according to it.
So what is this curse about? Destruction. It's about death. Death to the thief and to the liar. The thief and the liar. And who is this talking about? This so-called white man. Edom, yo. Edom. Including Amalek. Read the next verse.
I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief.
This curse, he said, this curse shall enter into the house of the thief. The house of the thief, that's the United States of America. That's the land of Israel. That's Europe. That's Russia. That's Germany. That's wherever Edom is. That's the house of the thief, yo. Australia, that's the house of the thief. These are land masses that they stole, man. That they stole from the indigenous people of those places, man. Real talk. When you think about Israel, you think about the Jewish people being there? Hell no. Before the Jewish people were there, you had Palestinians there. You had Arabs there. Before them, you had black Palestinians there. We're going to show you that too after this. Go ahead, read that. And then we're almost done. Read that.
And into the house of him that sweareth falsely.
That's talking about the white man. Into the house of him that sweareth falsely, saying, I am a Jew. I am Christ. That's him that sweareth falsely. Read.
By my name.
By God's name. Saying, I'm a Jew. Saying, I'm Christ. Read.
And it shall remain in the midst of his house. And shall consume it with the timber thereof. And the stones thereof.
Meaning he's going to destroy the house of the thief. Wherever Edom is, those places will be destroyed, man. Those places will be destroyed. I said I wanted something else. Do you remember what I said I wanted? I was just talking about something. About the Palestinians real quick. About them being thieves, still in the land. Let me get that. Let me see here. Okay. Give myself a 5-minute, 10-minute grace period. Read that.
We have several other people in the country, even among the Jews, the Zionists particularly, who were against anything that was to be done if they couldn't have the whole of Palestine and everything handed to them on a silver plate so they wouldn't have to do anything. It couldn't be done. We had to take it in small doses.
Pause. You heard what he just said? It couldn't be done. We had to take it, talking about Palestine. We had to take it in small doses. This is the thief, man. This is the thief. The people who steals cultures, heritages, identities, lands, yo. This is the thief. Press play.
Do anything. It couldn't be done. We had to take it in small doses. You can't move 5 or 6 million people out of a country and fill it up with 5 or 6 million more and expect both sets of them to be pleased.
49. Stop this.
But don't.
Next one.
We know that our ancestors.
Watch this. To be a black Palestinian. Oh, yeah, take it back down.
about thousands of years we had been here in this country, but they were spread away, taken to Africa, from Africa to the United States to be
He just said, he said, we have been here in this country for thousands of years. But then we got kicked out, sent into Africa, and then from Africa taken to the United States. You know what he just told you about those black people that came to the United States, right? They're Jews, yo. Those black people that came through the transatlantic slave trade, those are the Jews, man. Keep going.
That's a big problem. But to be a black Palestinian, I'm quite convinced it will be there, because as a black Palestinian, I am double oppressed. First of all, they oppress me as a Palestinian. Secondly, they oppress me because of my color. Whenever I go around in the Israeli side, they call me Kushi. Kushi means nigger. The more they humiliate me, the more they oppress me, the more I stick to my land. Because this is my land. I'm so rooted. We are deeply rooted as Africans, as Palestinian Africans in this land. And we know our ancestors, I'm talking about thousands and thousands of years, we had been here in this country, but they were spread away, taken to Africa, from Africa to the United States.
From Africa to the United States. What is he talking about? 70 AD. When we were kicked out of Jerusalem in 70 AD, we fled into Africa. From Africa, we went into the United States of America via the transatlantic slave trade. Now, all of us didn't go to America. Some of us were still on that side of the world. How did they end back in Palestine? How did they end up back in Palestine after we got kicked out? Watch this. It says black Palestinians, right? Black Palestinians are black people who live in or have family from Palestine. They are also called Afro-Palestinians because many have ancestors from Africa. In history, many black people were forced to go to Palestine as slaves by the Ottoman Empire. So after we were kicked out of Jerusalem in 70 AD, those who were on that side of the world, meaning in Africa, they were taken again by slaves by the Ottoman Empire and placed in Palestine. This is history. They don't like to teach us right here. They don't want to teach us this in school. Some of them were also enslaved by Palestinian Bedouins. Some of y'all pray for Palestinians. Some of y'all pray for their peace and their well-being.
Some of them married to them.
Hey, let me let you in on a secret. I pray for Palestinians too. For their goddamn destruction.
That's right.
That's what I pray for. It says there are also black Palestinians who came as immigrants from Africa. Drop that. Drop that. I want to end this because we are running over time. Yep, we're running over time. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to end this. Let's close out in 2nd Ezra chapter 16. 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse... let's start at verse 36.
The book of 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse 36. Behold, the word of the Lord. Receive it.
Behold, the word of the Lord and receive it. Read, if you can, receive it. Read.
Believe not the gods of whom the Lord spake.
Read.
Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack.
We see the plagues now, and they are not slacking up. Read.
As when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, within 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb.
Read.
Which pains, when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment.
Keep reading.
Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth. And the world shall mourn.
And the world shall mourn.
And sorrows shall come upon it on every side.
This is the beginning of sorrows. The beginning of sorrows for the world, Joe. Jump over to verse 1 real quick.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, and verse 1. Woe be unto thee, Babylon.
Woe be unto thee, Babylon. That's talking about the United States of America. Woe, sorrow to this place right here, man. And not just this place alone, but all of the Americas. Mexico, Central America,
Canada.
South America, Canada. Sorrow, woe to these places. Read.
And Asia.
And woe to Asia. Asia is a continent with 48 different countries. Woe is coming to Asia. Read.
Woe be unto thee, Egypt, and Syria.
And where's Egypt and Syria? In Africa. Woe to Africa. Sorrows is coming to the world. Sorrows are in the world. They're here now. Yo, jump back to verse 40.
Verse 40. O my people, hear my word.
Hear the word of God.
Make you ready to the battle.
Read.
And in those evils.
And in those evils, in these plagues, read.
Be even as pilgrims upon the earth.
Be as pilgrims upon the earth. A pilgrim is a man or a woman who travels to a sacred place for religious reasons, yo. That's what a pilgrim is. We are to be those pilgrims. Be prepared for that travel to that sacred place. And that sacred place, we're going to end with these last two verses. That sacred place is talking about the land that God gave to our forefathers. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Give me Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 3. We're going to finish with these two last scriptures. Jeremiah 30 and 3.
Look at Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 3. Read. For lo, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel.
The Lord said the days come where he is going to return the captivity of his people Israel. Read.
And Judah,
read.
saith the Lord, and I will cause them to return to the land that I give to their fathers, and they shall possess it.
That's the sacred place that we're about to take this journey to. The land of our forefathers. Baruch chapter 2, 34 and 35, and this is it.
The book of Baruch chapter 2 and verse 34. Read. And I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And they shall be lords of it.
And they shall be lords over the land. Read.
And I will increase them.
And he said he will increase us.
And they shall not be diminished.
And we will never diminish. Read.
And I will make an everlasting covenant with them.
That everlasting covenant is the new covenant. That's the everlasting covenant. Read.
To be their God. And they shall be my people. And I will no more drive my people of Israel out of the land that I have given them.
This is why he said, be as a pilgrim on earth. Be ready for that travel, that journey to that sacred place, which is the land of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Hey, anybody got anything they want to say? Hey, well, with that said, man, we're going to go ahead and end this thing in the same way that we began this thing. And that's by giving all praises and all glory and all honor to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, through his only begotten Son, Jesus the Christ. Secondly, we're going to give our elders double honors again, because our elders rule well. Our elders are counted worthy of double honors. Our elders get their double honors. Finally, lastly, I want to say to all of my brothers, all of my sisters out there, Shalom, farewell. My name is Priest Lithiel Ben Israel.
And likewise, my name is Priest Ron Ben Israel. And hopefully you find this class edifying. And if so, if you want to know more about our school and organization, Holy Nation of Israel, look us up on Facebook as well on Instagram. And then if you want to check out our YouTube channel, just look up Straight Gate of Israel. And as well, you can look me up on Facebook and Instagram, Ron Ben Israel. But on Instagram, all lowercase and an underscore between the two.
And you'll find me on IG, Lithiel617, Facebook, Lithiel Ben Israel.
And remember, feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, follow, hit the bell, stay up with the notifications, because we drop content almost every day.
Yep.
And you got anything up?
Hey, no, I'm good, man.
Hey, and with that, we're going to say shalom.
Shabbat shalom.